YouTube world, my name is Nicholas Montes and you're watching my YouTube channel, The Teenage Movie Critic. Welcome back to another YouTube channel, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back here together again. And in today's video, we're going to be doing something kind of fun today. So a couple of days ago, they announced that Woody and Buzz Lightyear are coming back together in Toy Story 5. But not only that, but they also announced that after Toy Story 5 and Inside Out 2, every Pixar sequel after that is going to be legit. It's going to be good. So, that kind of gave me the idea to, what Pixar sequels do I want to see? What sequels to Pixar films do I want to see? So that's kind of what this whole video is about. But before we get into my top 5 most anticipated Pixar sequels, for this video of what sequels I would love to see, let's kind of talk about some, one for honorable mentions. First one, A Bug's Life 2. I'm pretty sure this one is not happening just because we kind of got a tease of that in Toy Story 2, but it was mostly used as a joke. But it's kind of lame that we only got one film with them, though we have the show in Animal Kingdom and Disney World. Besides that, they're just not given any recognition. And maybe we could get more of the characters. I would love to see more of that world. And then the other one is a proper Monsters, Inc. sequel. Yes, I know we had Monsters University, which was technically a prequel, and we did have Monsters at Work, but honestly, that show is mid, and honestly, it's kind of forgettable. Plus, it wasn't even a Pixar, property. It was mostly a Disney Plus Disney original. And plus, the animation was pretty bad. They didn't really return most of the same main cast members. I'm sure you had John Goodman and Billy Crystal back, but that's really it. But I would love a proper sequel where we get to see Sully and Boo reunite. That's the Monsters Inc. 2 I want. With that said, let's go ahead and get started reviewing, doing my top 5 sequels I want from Pixar. Alright, now this one is a little bit difficult to talk about because, on the one hand, the original Up film is one of, if not one of my favorite Pixar films. But then you get, and it's not like, unlike A Bug's Life and stuff, we actually have seen the continuation of this world. We got a little short series back in 2021 with Doug Days, where basically we get to see Carl and Doug living life together. And then this past weekend we got a new short film called Carl's Date, where basically Carl's going on his first date since Ellie died. And I think that will be a very emotional story since that will be pretty heartbreaking. But I think the one that really comes difficult to this film is the actual person that played Carl Fredricksen in real life actually passed away, Ed Asner. So what exactly do I have in mind for an Up sequel? For a proper sequel that's not just a short film, that's not just a series of shorts. My idea for it is you mourn over the death of Carl, and you focus the story on Russell, Kevin, and Doug. But you have that adventure side of things, and he continues on with Carl's dreams and everything. So I think that's my vision for an Up sequel. If they made it, it would be a dream come true. I would love to see an Up sequel. So the original Ratatouille, I think, is definitely one of my favorite Pixar films. And and how unique it is, and how all the characters work, and especially as a Brad Bird film, it really works. So I honestly really want a sequel to this movie. I think it definitely deserves one. And honestly, the only thing I just really want is just to see more of that world, and like how successful is this rat restaurant being controlled by rats and everything. Like, how well is it being controlled? Like, how well is it being treated? And like, how much has that world changed? And I'm like, I guess maybe one day we'll see, but who knows? I would love to see a continuation of Ratatouille. So the original Coco film, I think, is definitely one of the Pixar classics. It's not my all-time favorite, but it is definitely a great movie. with great characters, great animation, a pretty great story too. This movie is just a ton of fun, and so with the themes that they established in the first movie and the characters they put in, I just want to see how has this world changed, and what kind of things have added, like because music is now brought back into Mexico. How has that changed Mexico for the greater good, and what actually happened instead of just turning into this musical fest? I'm like, I want to see what that's gonna be like. Granted, I still don't have a vision as to what this film could be, but I want to see more of this world and these characters. Now, obviously, the original Incredibles, I think, is a very good Pixar film. It's not my favorite, but it is very good. I absolutely loved Incredibles 2, and I was a massive fan of that film. And now that after that big success of that second movie, I honestly just everybody has been asking, when are we getting Incredibles 3? I want to see this next movie because they slapped hard with this one, and I want to see the next one. Now, to be clear, I love superhero films, and I feel like superhero films need to start doing newer things these days instead of just having big CGI fights all the time. You need to do newer stuff. Incredibles 2 proved that, where you could do something new and different in a world where other superhero movies exist and are better. And this movie proved that. And so now I just want to see first off, and the thing why it's a little bit higher than a sequel to Ratatouille, Coco, and Up, is because with Incredibles 3, I have a bit of a better envisionment for what this movie could be. Basically, we start off the movie basically in the way Incredibles 2 did, where we see the fight of wherever they're fighting, where we get to see the Incredibles family finally in action. The kids aren't babysitting Jack no more because he finally has powers. So they're going into action, and we get to see what a world where superheroes are legal. What does that look like? And you get to see Frozone and all these other characters, and Void coming in, and just to see how the world has changed with superheroes and how good that can really be, but also how bad that can be, how much damage they can be, as to going back to why they became illegal in the first place. Like, you can explore all these different themes at the same time, give us awesome action, do something different with the genre, and just give us another fantastic Incredibles film. I'm hoping Brad Bird can come back and direct it, and he could do something unique and different with it. So the original Finding Nemo film is obviously my favorite Pixar film, so that, of course, has a deep spot in my heart. I really liked Finding Dory. I would say that's like my comfort movie to watch whenever I'm like feeling down. But it is a really good movie. With Finding Marlin, I have a bit of a better standpoint. Of all these films I just talked about before, Finding Marlin is the film I have. Finding Nemo 3 is the big film I have the big idea for. So I'm kind of mixing in what you did in Finding Dory, where you're trying to look for Marlin, but mixing in what you did with Finding Nemo, where you mix in Marlin and Dory, except now it's Nemo and Dory, except it's Nemo and Dory now, and Nemo's a little bit older, so we're not doing young Nemo anymore, because, and much like Incredibles 2, Incredibles 3, I want Violet, Dash, Jack a little bit older, so instead we're growing them a little bit, and basically have a different dynamic, but at the same time, as they're fighting Marlin, plus we're bringing in the characters from the fish tank in the first movie, as they're finally freed, or until they get released, and then as they're trying to find Marlin, not only are we trying to look for Marlin, but it's really exploring two things. Exploring this, the actual character of Marlin. What makes him tick? What does he do? And really just exploring the overall depth of him. Just spending more time with him. And he learns to fall in love again. And go back into that, as he hasn't dated anyone since Coral died. And I want to explore that story. So, honestly, I think that would be a great story to tell for a Finding Nemo 3 or a Finding Marlin story. it would be a great film to end off this trilogy. I would absolutely love it. So that is pretty much the Pixar sequels that I would love to see. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What are Pixar sequels you would love to see? And do you agree with my opinions and what stories I could tell? What stories Pixar could tell? Let me know. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my social media stuff is in the about section over there. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.